Good morning, this is Peggy Person.
I'm Scott Clark.
And I'm Rick Introp.
And we're coming to you from the coffee shop. This morning we are at the Boardroom Coffee Cafe. Is it Coffee Cafe?
I think so.
The sign outside says Boardroom Cafe. The sign inside says Boardroom
Coffee
Coffee.
Cafe. It's whatever it is.
It's
People will find it. It's
the
on.
Boardroom.
It's just off 85th and Aurora.
It is, and it's pretty cool.
It's anything but boring.
It's true. It's a little.
Actually pretty cool.
It is cool. It has like really.
It's not. Yeah, not bored in here at all.
beams.
Yeah, we're
my
not bored.
It has exposed beam ceilings and skateboards hanging everywhere and a full breakfast menu with a kitchen, so it's not like, I mean, I got something from the counter, like in the case, you know, like I got a cinnamon roll, which was really good, but you guys got actual like prepared breakfasts.
I had the breakfast sandwich on everything bun. Had ham and tomatoes and eggs and very tasty.
Nice.
Look yummy.
Yeah, it wasn't grilled at all, which is what I really liked about. I think it was Zola's Cafe where we had another breakfast sandwich. That's still
one.
number one. For
Is
me.
it?
Because
Okay.
Just the
Dude.
flavor in that.
Yeah.
We should totally
It was still good,
do
though.
our like top breakfast.
Yeah, well, I've been hitting the breakfast sandwiches whenever they have them. So,
totally. Because
anyway.
I usually go for a bagel, but you know,
I'm down with the bagel sandwich.
We've gone to some places that have had some really yummy stuff.
That's the best part about it. It's just like the exploration and just kind of popping in. We've yet to find a place that really sucked, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had some places that were like a B- where it was totally forgettable, but not like an F.
I want to say we did have that Starbucks that didn't have a working bathroom.
The worst Starbucks ever.
Yeah.
That was great. That was, I think, our second episode.
Yep. And, we sat outside.
Oh my God.
And the planes were buzzing over. It was pretty cool.
The guy was the rudest. Like, the guy behind the counter was like just completely incompetent, rude. They didn't have a bathroom that worked. Like, there was so many problems.
Did you talk about this with the podcast?
Yeah.
Yeah, we totally.
So if you go back to like episode 2 or 3,
to make a little, put a little link back to where we're.
Totally.
Kind of makes me wish I drank coffee though, because I can't really evaluate the coffee. I think I'd be all over it with how good or bad.
Totally.
I don't know. Everybody's got their opinion about stuff. But.
They serve Stumptown here. They serve Stumptown a lot of places we've been.
Okay,
so
sure.
a lot of it's the same coffee.
Right.
But I have noticed.
It's
or similar,
the
the same
I've
originator.
made coffee. I used to work in a deli and I made coffee. If you mash the grounds down harder, it takes longer to make, but it's creamier. You get more foam, and it's
more
all
intense.
the
Totally.
There's
the
an
preparation
art to it, for sure.
Well, I've noticed
it's not just the ingredients.
that a lot of places that serve Stumptown coffee I like, but Stumptown, the actual coffee shop, I don't like their coffee.
Right,
like,
we were there.
Yeah.
It might have been the barista though.
Is it just
could've
drip
been.
or espresso?
Usually, I mean, today I'm drinking a mocha because I'm still, like, I have a cough, and so drinking cold stuff kind of makes it worse.
Right.
But I prefer cold brew. Cold brew is my number one.
Huh.
Iced coffee is my number 2. There's a difference.
Yeah, what is cold brew?
Cold brew, I actually make it at home. It's the easiest thing. You just get, like, a jug, water, coffee grounds, stir it up, leave it overnight, and then strain it through a coffee filter. It's the easiest thing to make.
It's kind of like sun tea.
Yeah,
just
totally.
Let nature do its thing. Right?
Totally, and it's
interesting.
Like super not bitter. Like it is the least bitter coffee, and it's
do you
just
drink
like,
it black?
I put a little bit of Splenda in, like one little thing of Splenda for a big, just to kind of give it like the tiniest bit of
Sweetness.
But it is good black.
Yeah.
I actually trained myself to drink black coffee a long time ago because it was too like strong for me at first. But once I got used to it, I liked it because so many times you go to places and they don't have Splenda, and sugar doesn't dissolve in cold drinks.
It goes to the bottom.
It just sinks. It's a total waste. And so I was like, you know what? If I drank black coffee, I would be so much happier because I could always get it.
Yeah.
Right.
And now that I, like, if it's black, I'll just drink it and it's fine.
I did the same thing when I was just training myself to drink black coffee, but I found when I actually taste the coffee, like there's actually a sweetness to the coffee once you get trained into it.
It's the same with wine. Like once you like at first it's weird, and then once you get kind of used to the flavors, it like develops your palate of being, you know,
Okay.
You can actually pick up the notes.
yeah.
More sophisticated.
Exactly.
Right, okay.
But the Stumptown place we went to, in the one near my house, the one where there was all that glass on the street,
Yeah.
that coffee tasted like straight up soap water.
Right.
It was so gross.
They probably didn't rinse their craft out enough.
Maybe.
Huh.
It was so gross. And then there's another Stumptown up near the Northwest Film Forum that sometimes I go to when I'm volunteering. And I've gone like around the corner the other way to go to the other coffee shop because that Stumptown is just gross to me. And I'm like, the way they prepare the coffee is like, there's just like, you take a sip and it's like, the flavor you get isn't coffee first, it's something else, and it's almost chemically, it's really gross.
That's too bad.
So it's kind of a bummer.
They're not a really good promoter of their own product.
No.
But before we get too much deeper into this, let's give a quick thank you to Rob, our cashier.
Our cashier,
And he was really excited when we gave our the first rendition of our business cards. They will get better as we go on.
Yeah, we're gonna work on it.
I could tell Rick wasn't really pleased with it. But I think Rick has a little poo-poo going on.
Well,
right
we want
now,
it to be like really professional. And
sorry to call
anyway.
you out.
It's fine. I'm not gonna lie. I've done it differently.
I know.
It gets the job done.
That's basically
it's a functional thing.
It's just so they have something to look at. It's the first prototype.
Yeah.
There you go.
As we go.
What was the barista's name?
Rob.
Well,
Cashier, barista.
Cashier, sure.
One thing I also... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I think he's got about a bigger beard as me.
Really?
If not longer.
The red beard, yeah.
He's got
totally.
that sweet,
He's definitely
ginger beard.
Have you watched the documentary Mansome? It's Morgan Spurlock who did Super Size Me, which I hate. It's such a condescending, shitty, like fat people are the worst people on earth podcast or documentary. It's like if someone actually made a response documentary to it that was like, he ate at McDonald's every day for a month and lost weight. And he was like, because people aren't morons. Like, you can choose healthy food at McDonald's. And it was really good documentary.
That guy was eating like Big Macs, fries, and a Coke.
There's a scene where he like orders this meal and it's so big he throws up. And I'm like, at McDonald's? Fuck yourself.
Right.
It was so condescending and shitty.
Sort of like...
And then he does like a vegan diet at the end, and his life becomes so much better. And I'm like, you're such an asshole. It makes me so mad. Sorry, go ahead.
Michael Moore can kind of do that too sometimes.
But he does it in such a funny, shitty way that like it makes me laugh.
Right, but it's still very one-sided and very kind of twisted to see
the agenda.
Yes, it's true. That's so true. But the point of this was Mansome is his documentary on modern masculinity, and they have a whole section on competitive beard growing. It's really like the whole documentary. They interview all these male comedians about their beards and stuff. It's about like body hair grooming. He's in that actually, and like
there's this
Will
really
Ferrell's in
funny
it.
comedian. He's got he's like gray hair, really short dude. But he's got a big, huge beard. I can't remember his name. He's hilarious.
Is he? I think of who I know that has a big beard.
He's like last year. He's like one of the new comedians from Comedy Central that they kind of promoted.
I'm sure I know.
I'll come back with his name.
Cool.
But he's hilarious.
But you should definitely watch Mansome. I think it's on Netflix
Ben
streaming.
Kronberg has a beard too.
Yeah,
anyway,
it's true.
Anyway,
they just talk about competitive beard growing, and that guy his beard reminded me of the guy who's like won all these competitions because he has this like natural redheaded beard that's just fabulous. Anyway.
Have you ever heard of Movember?
Yeah, it is Movember right now.
Yeah, I thought about doing it, but man, I just can't pull myself.
It's a fundraiser for testicular cancer research.
And you sign up and you grow a mustache. It's basically no other facial hair.
And you let it grow. Could you what?
Could you grow a Hitler if you wanted to?
Yeah.
Sure you can. And then people sponsor you and you raise money for testicular cancer.
It's a solo stash.
Grow a Hitler mustache.
Yeah.
Then you get I would do that actually, and get my picture taken next to that Obama poster.
Nice.
They were in my town actually. The impeach Obama people.
Oh, that's funny.
I just think that's so funny having Obama with the Hitler mustache. I was like, do you even know that Hitler didn't like black people?
No.
So why would you put that?
Well, they don't even
like
understand.
a lot of people evidently.
Well, people, I think the majority of the general public doesn't get that fascism is right wing. Like, I don't think they understand the difference between, because it's right wing people saying, "Oh, you're as bad as this right wing philosophy." Like, fascism is as far right as socialism is left.
Right.
And so it's to me, it's a hilarious irony of going, "You're as bad as someone who is very similar in philosophy to me." And it's like, well, the thing people have a problem with is his genocide and his totalitarianism.
Right, which that was it was they're going to go after one segment of the population, then another, and then another, and then another, and then another, and until you're the perfect epitome of whatever it is there. Then what's next? Height, and the slippery slope is what it started with, and it just happened to be Jews, and right now it just happens to be.
Well, and it's not only Jews in concentration camps, but like 3 million people who were disabled, gay, gypsies. Like he had already started spreading the terror, which is really interesting. There's a documentary called, oh my gosh,
well, and I guess
Pink Triangles, I think, that's about the non-Jews in concentration camps, and they have this.
Because the Jews have the yellow triangle, right? Then they have the yellow.
Jews have the Star of David.
Yeah.
But there's actually charts out there that come from the Nazi Party that show the different armbands, and like the Star of David is one of them. But there's about 20 different categories of people who were rounded up and sent to concentration camps.
Wow.
It's just that the Jews happen to be the vast majority of it, because that was really Hitler's fixation.
But they were all through Europe too.
And countries literally were like, in order to keep you from destroying our country, we will just turn over 1 million Jews to you. Like Slovakia was like, I'm out. Here are all our Jews. Please don't burn our country.
Right.
It's really messed up.
Didn't Hitler's rise to power come through a socialist sort of way? Not because fascism is corporations and government merged together with Mussolini.
Fascism was a response to Russians' socialist movement, and the German people saying like, no, socialism is the enemy.
Okay.
Which is what's interesting about World War II, is that we allied with the socialist side of that, like China and Russia, and then just a few years later we're like, oh no, socialism is the worst thing on earth.
Well, which communism basically.
Yeah.
Against the communists.
Exactly.
By definition, that's the extreme left.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's socialism, communism, and then corporatism, fascism, and then not capitalism, corporatism.
Right. Well, I guess the truly socialist countries are socialist, but a lot of like socialist ideologies can exist with capitalism, as evidenced by China.
But with capitalism, not corporatism.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm confused now.
I'm always confused.
Yeah.
Anyway.
The whole point was growing beards, right?
Growing beards, yeah.
Hey, really quick though, also, we're in my old neighborhood.
That's right.
I grew up here. This is like a homecoming. There's 2 blocks away is a Jack in the Box.
Yeah.
Where I spent many a night walking through the drive-through, stoned out of my head, because they would close down the dining room.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
And we would stand at and they stopped it because somebody got ran over. None of our crew.
People ruining your fun.
I know, right? It's like the idiots ruin it for all of us good stoners, you know.
I actually lived right off of 83rd. You can almost see it if you walk outside.
Oh, right on the road?
Right down the road there, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
How long ago?
This is probably 96, I want to say. All of 96, maybe some of 95.
I was still running
Before,
around up here at that time. I had cousins at the next city,
Yeah, we actually operated a business out of the house that we rented.
Oh, cool.
Messageware was the business. We moved from West Seattle up to here. And actually, it kind of broke off. Messageware became still Messageware, but then Greg started Seattle Screw.
Chubby and Tubby was still here. Remember that? Oh, it's like a little store.
Yeah.
What is it called?
Chubby and Tubby.
Chubby and Chubby.
Chubby and Tubby. It was like there were 2 of them in
it was
Seattle.
like a low budget Walgreens or something.
It was kind of like
stuff in there.
It was like a micro Walmart.
Right on.
Yeah, we would go there and get Levi's and Nike shoes.
Yeah.
They would have a tub where you dig through, and they would have Nike shoes that were slip-ons.
Weird.
And you would dig through there and try and find two matching sizes.
Right. Yeah. So think like Army Surplus store, Walgreens, and a dollar store, sort of kind of crammed into one, like a little bit of each of those things.
Yeah, they always had things out front like wheelbarrows stacked up. It was like almost and like a Dell's like farm wear.
It's essentially like a guy who's like, this is my local business, and he's got a brother who buys stuff off of the back of trucks and just puts it out. That's cool. I like that.
I miss it. It was an icon. It was an icon for a long time.
Oh, it's not around anymore.
No, they had one here on Aurora and one on Rainier.
Totally.
They're both gone.
Well, the neat thing about living right here is Green Lake's right there. I mean, you just walk down a couple blocks and you're right at Green Lake.
Totally. And there's a bunch of theaters up in this part of town.
Oh yeah.
I'm actually going to a play on Friday called Rope, which actually is, I think it's farther east than this part of, I think it's on the other side of Wallingford, actually, but it's near up on this part of town. It's Rope, which is, Alfred Hitchcock made it into a movie in like the 50s, but it's based on a play, and my friend Gerald from community college is the lead in the play, and I've been meaning to go to his plays since I moved here, and this one like looks really, really, really good. And he's like one of the main people in it, and so I was like, I'm going.
Is it like a bondage thing?
A bondage thing? I've never seen the movie, so I don't know.
Is it about a lady that gets just mauled by a bunch of ropes?
Yes, exactly.
Well, like birds, you know.
I don't know what the reference to rope is.
Well, they were going to name it Yarn, but that was already taken by the kittens.
I'm sorry. Paramount. Sorry, Alex was saying that the Paramount, there's the Priscilla, Queen of the Desert musical that's just opening.
Oh, neat.
Which won a bunch of Tonys when it first came out, because it's really, really good. And
I've never been to the
costumes
Paramount.
are ridiculous, really. You should go. It's expensive, so you should find a good deal.
We went and saw Flight of the Conchords there.
Oh, that's
which
right.
was amazing.
Yeah.
It's a neat.
Terrible, though.
Yeah, but it's Flight of the Conchords. So you're not really there for the auditory experience. You're there for the funny.
Yeah.
You know.
Which, speaking of which, Flight of the Conchords guy, not Jermaine, the other one.
Jermaine Clement and Brett McKenzie. Yeah.
He is in a new movie coming out called The Austin Club, which I just saw a preview for, which is total chick flick romantic comedy. Carrie Russell is the lead. The girl who plays, oh my gosh, I wish I knew her name. She's in all the Christopher Guest movies. She's in Legally Blonde. She plays the nail salon lady in Legally Blonde. She's that. Jennifer
she played,
something. She's in like 1,000
Joey's
movies.
manager in the Joey show.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's even in Spinal Tap. She's
hilarious.
She's been around for years and years and years. She's the other lady, and the premise of the movie is Carrie Russell is I have read Pride and Prejudice 10,000 times and memorized it, Jane Austen fan, who finds out about an immersive Jane Austen experience in England. So she flies out there, she like blows her life savings to go to this like live in a castle and wear period piece clothes for a month kind of thing. And the comedy, or the lady we're talking about, Jennifer something, plays this woman who's like this total like alcoholic lush who just does it on a whim, who's like, Jane who? Let's go. And like she meets up with her, and so they're this like odd couple.
Or some kind of gal.
Oh, totally. She's totally Patty and Edna on Ab Fab. Is it Adina?
I know it because Alex watches a lot of it too. So.
Anyway, so he plays one of the various Mr. Darcy's, quote unquote, who's like at this immersive camp, and she's there like looking for the perfect man, and she meets all these like wacky characters who are people who would go to an immersive Jane Austen experience.
That's coming out this winter?
It's coming out I think this fall sometime. It didn't have a date on it on the preview, but it looks cute. And I saw him and I was like, oh, he's doing stuff that's outside of the Flight of Conchords world.
Well, he was in
which I think
the
he's
original Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Ring. Yeah, he was in
but he got cut.
I think he
Oh,
did.
really?
Well, he's in the
Is he
extended.
in the
though. He's in the
extended? Oh,
and
nice.
actually, I think he had an even more predominant role in Hobbit somewhere. I don't remember
weird.
where though.
I'll have to
But
look
they were
that
going to
up.
have to. They wanted to
Nice.
put him in. I wonder if he's going to be in the new the Hobbit 2. coming
Yeah, I
up,
wonder.
too,
It looks really good.
Yeah,
Well,
I
and
didn't-
then
I
he
watched
did the music for the last Muppet movie.
Yeah,
That's right.
Yeah, he did,
I saw
well,
that.
They won
Totally.
something for that.
The
didn't
last
they?
They did.
Muppet
They
movie?
won.
Yeah.
Yeah, he won an Oscar, but
An
there was
Oscar,
another
yeah.
one, so it was like a 50-50 chance for him to
Yeah.
win.
Huh, right.
So-
Yeah, the 2 contestants.
Totally. But
Um,
speaking of movies,
Yeah.
I saw another movie yesterday. But before I get to that, I want to give a plug to a new cafe downtown called Cafe Yum.
Cafe Yum.
And they've been building it for a long time, and I was walking by and I hadn't eaten, and I was like, oh, I'll stop in. And it happened to just be their grand opening, and they were like, we're giving away free bowls, here's a bowl
wow.
of food, and it's like, it was like mind-blowingly good.
Wow.
And my dish was the spicy and jazzy bowl. And it was just a bowl with rice, beans, cheese, black olives, tomatoes, avocado, I'm trying to think. Oh, a little bit of sour cream. This amazing jalapeno salsa that almost had an Asian flavor, and the spices in it were
Like a wasabi.
they're
There's a lot of fusion going on
yeah,
here.
it's a Mexican Asian fusion
Yeah.
cafe, and it is like crazy good.
Sounds like yum.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, it's
Is it
amazing.
adequately titled?
Yes, and like they have their menu is like bowls, so like it's just like a bowl. Like it's like there's no, I don't know. It was just
So
really
like
really good.
You're saying it comes in a bowl?
Yes,
Okay.
but it wasn't like a sandwich or you know what I mean. Like it's
torta.
yeah.
Well, they could put them in a bowl.
But they also have burrito versions, and they have
Oh.
grilled sandwiches, and they have a soup menu that's like 12 different soups that all
Is that-
sounded like really, really good,
Oh.
and it's really inexpensive. Anyway, so it's
well,
my
especially
new
when
favorite
it's a grand
place.
opening, they're giving away free. That's
Oh yeah,
really
but if you
inexpensive.
look at the menu, it's like $10 for a big meal.
Especially it's in downtown.
Mhm.
Cool.
Is it-
Yeah,
It's kind of
especially
like a
in,
lunch place.
Have
in
you been
downtown.
to-
That's pretty cheap.
Yeah, it is.
Have you been to Chipotle?
Yeah, I like Chipotle.
Chipotle's. Is it kind of like what they do there, where it's like, here's your stuff, you gotta put in?
It's
Kinda thing, or-
more like it's no, it's not.
Okay.
Because Chipotle is like they have like 10 things and you can mix and
Right,
match them.
yeah.
Right.
This has like a full menu.
Okay.
But
so-
it's similar in the kinds of food that they have.
Okay.
Only if you spiced it in an Asian flair way.
Interesting. Okay.
Because and they have like dishes that are like Asian
Maybe
dishes,
that's
like
what I figured that.
teriyakis or bento boxes that have like avocado in them, and
Huh.
like more like salsas you can get with them. So it's like this really weird mix.
Avocado. That's one of the foods I absolutely despised as a kid. Now I just
Oh.
love it. I can't
And
get
I've
enough
always
of it.
loved it.
I love it. Well, because it was bland.
Weird,
It's
yeah.
bland and slimy, but now it's got that. I think as you grow older, your palate
Yeah.
changes.
Oh, for sure.
But now I'm
Well,
like,
I don't know if you
What?
tasted my mom's Spanish rice.
Oh, God.
It's like our family has a thing with Spanish rice.
so you really can't immature into that, can you?
No, I love Spanish rice now.
No, but your
I
mom's
don't
Spanish
even
rice.
like it.
Oh, I don't know. I'm sure she makes it great now.
Oh.
But
There was an era where her cooking was suspect.
yeah.
It's
well,
gotten
it's-
better,
yeah.
or at least maybe she's
Actually-
narrowed the things she makes and makes this
Yeah,
stuff
no,
really
she's
well.
made.
I had an
enjoyed her
aunt who would
cooking
make
now,
spaghetti with tomato soup.
Huh.
Horrible. It was
that
horrible.
Sounds really
and
bad.
she used
Yeah.
and nothing with
What was
salt. She knows
the
salt.
AM/PM out of SpaghettiOs or something? Or what?
Yeah.
That is essentially what spaghetti
No,
is.
she was just a horrible cook.
Ugh.
She thought it
Yeah.
tasted great.
Huh.
Yeah.
Weird. My friend Carolee's aunt had no sense of smell.
Huh.
And it was like this big family joke of like the things she would serve were just weird because your sense of smell affects your
Right.
taste buds so much
It's a
that
huge
she
part
would
of
just
your
like
taste.
put stuff together that
Oh.
made no sense, and everyone else is like, "This is really
It's
weird."
like abstract art. That you eat.
Oh my gosh.
Is this a joke?
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Yeah, so that's Cafe Yum. People should check
Cool.
it out.
Yeah.
It's brand new, and it was just they were super friendly and like really
Is it
nice.
just one, or is it a franchise
it's-
kind of thing? Or
It had the look of a franchise because it was so slick,
okay.
but I've never heard of it and don't know of any other ones.
YUM?
I think it's 2 M's.
Okay.
Like
2 M's.
YUMM.
Yeah, I haven't seen them all yet, so I don't think it's a franchise.
Yeah, it could be though. Very easily,
It could,
I think.
that might be one of those things that moved up from Oregon or
maybe.
or
like has 2 or 3 locations.
Yeah.
It just like looked so polished, like everything was so slick inside. It felt like a franchise, but man, that I've been having like fantasies about that food because the jalapeno salsa was like the most delicious thing I've ever had.
I have
It
a
was
theory
so
on
good.
really good food. I think people who create that kind of food are pot smokers.
Do you think so?
Right, I really do, because it's like, that's the kind of shit I would think of. Like, man, I just look in my refrigerator, oh, there's avocado sour cream, and oh, let's throw some meat.
Well, the whole drugs and music kind of interaction thing.
It's just like you
alcohol
look at
writing
food
thing.
sober. Would I do that? Would I put like bacon around a hot dog? Probably not.
It might be delicious though.
Right,
Well,
but
I think creative things are inspired myself just as I have created things. They're not really about, they just come to you. It's not anything I've never done anything that's been like, oh, I want to do this, and then it came out that way. It just kind of happens.
yeah.
Nice. But I was on my way to see a movie called Blue Jasmine, which is Woody Allen's most recent movie.
Oh.
And I'm a Woody Allen. I see every single movie he makes, but I don't like 99% of them.
Huh.
Like, I actively dislike because he's made probably 60 movies, like directed, written, and about 4 of them are good. But the 4 that are good are like the greatest movies of all time, like Bullets Over Broadway, Hannah and Her Sisters, Annie Hall, and Crimes and Misdemeanors. Those are the 4 that I love. The rest are like permutations of each of those models that are made shittier, and so they're like, I mean, if you watch his movies, they're so similar. It's like Mexican food. You know how every Mexican dish is like
pretty much the same
4 of 7 ingredients?
Yeah.
Every Woody Allen movie is 4 of
Basically,
7 ingredients.
The only difference in it
Oh, totally.
is the meat.
Are you familiar with the band Offspring?
A little bit, just in that I know their name.
Oh, okay.
And know that they're
all their
a popular
songs
band.
are pretty much the same.
Are they?
They have a flavor.
Yeah. But then I think, and so then I just keep like going to Woody Allen movies hoping that it's the good one. And this one was so good. Like, Cate Blanchett, Alec Baldwin are the 2 lead characters. Louis C.K.'s in it.
Oh, cool.
Peter Sarsgaard's in it. I mean, there are like every person who pops up, you're like, oh, like tons of names, as every Woody Allen movie is. But it's about Cate Blanchett is this woman who's like a Park Avenue, like super wealthy woman who loses everything. Like, it starts with her talking to herself on an airplane, and you can tell that she's like emotionally unhinged. And then the movie like splices together current, like, post-breakdown Cate Blanchett with what her life was like before, and it intersperses them throughout, and you watch, it's like a character piece of a person who is like the author of her own misery, and also like just like a completely tragic character, and she is like amazing. Like, I love Cate Blanchett.
What's
anyway.
the name of the movie again?
It's called Blue Jasmine.
Blue Jasmine.
And Alec Baldwin plays like the most delicious slime ball that like, because he is just like so charismatic and great, but he never really does anything horrible. Well, he does a couple of things on screen, but you learn all this stuff about him, and then you see these little slices of life where he's charming and like, everybody trusts him, and he's this like captain of industry, but then you learn this stuff about him that you're like, oh man, that's so crazy. And he's wonderful, and she's like, it's like watching a masterclass in acting of like, she is so believable as this woman who's like deeply emotionally disturbed.
He's the one Baldwin that should have acted anyway.
Man,
The rest
he's
of
so
them are
good.
They're, you know.
Biodome? Come on, dude.
Biodome. I do
Biodome.
love Biodome.
Yeah, it's good. It's good because it's horrible.
It's true. No, but Alec Baldwin is like, he's good at everything he does to me. Like anything, I'll enjoy him.
Nice.
There's a movie theater we go to in Federal Way called the Gateway 8. It's a $2 theater. Yeah, we went and saw Planes.
Oh, cool.
What is
How was
Planes?
It's a Disney movie
Cars
about
3.
Planes, yeah. Cars
Yeah.
96.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How was it?
it was horrible.
I didn't even like Cars.
I like Cars, but because it was new, it was something different, you know. But the second one was the same movie,
Yeah.
and then the third, the Planes, was
The same.
it was just kind of, you know,
Now they
it's
fly.
like a love story. Yeah, they're in the air,
Oh,
Yeah.
great.
you know, and they're in the air. But instead of like, you know, in Cars, the main character was like in the big leagues. He went down to the farm team.
Yeah.
But this is the opposite. He was coming from the farm team, literally, because he's a crop duster.
Oh,
And
nice.
he went up to the big leagues. So, and then,
Yeah.
you
Well,
know,
I have this
Kids
theory
like
that's
it. That's
not
the
even
thing.
a theory. It's just what happened with Pixar, which is that Pixar started out the other underdog fighting and scrapping for good stories and interesting to make their brand, and now they're Disney, and so they're like protecting their brand instead of looking for a creative thing that they're trying to find. They're like, oh wait, this works. Hang on to it as hard as we can.
Right.
And now, since then, they're doing all sequels, and like
It's
it's
kind of
really
a good
just
thing though, because then all the other good stuff comes out other ways. There's other
Yeah.
animation companies that are doing amazing work.
Well,
like
and that's-
Rango, that movie.
oh yeah, that movie's
That
fantastic.
company's doing awesome stuff.
And that
I like the Rango. Actually,
Yeah,
it was
that's
very
what we're saying, though, is that it's like
not
a
Pixar
really
or
good
not
one.
DreamWorks.
It's
or not-
it had a lot of Hunter S. Thompson.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
tie-ins.
completely.
It's so
totally.
good.
Yeah,
Well,
I love
because
that
it's Johnny
movie.
Depp.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And
everything about that movie is awesome.
Yeah.
And the film references like Chinatown and
Totally. Well, and that's what Pixar was when they started. Were the scrappy thing, but now they're establishment and and they ripped off their story anyway.
Weren't they
so
affiliated
the
with
Toy
DreamWorks
Story-
at one time? Like they were
Yeah,
like
DreamWorks bought Pixar.
Yeah,
and now it's Pixar DreamWorks, so it's
And then
Disney
I
essentially.
thought it was Pixar Disney.
Well, now it's Disney.
Yeah.
It was DreamWorks for a while.
DreamWorks, but wasn't that
And now
also
it's
like up
Disney.
on the Skywalker Ranch or no? You know, or
No,
was it, they had no
DreamWorks is a
affiliation.
DreamWorks was
Skywalker.
Spielberg, I think.
Spielberg.
It
Okay,
is.
that's right.
It's DreamWorks SKG, which is Spielberg, Goldman. I
Right,
forget
speaking
what
of
the
that,
K
they're coming
is.
out with another Dragon, How to Train Your Dragon,
are
which
they?
I'm kind of skeptical because the TV shows are all right, but I loved the movie.
Oh, I didn't know there was a TV show. I love
Yeah,
the
they
movie.
have like little TV show
Oh, that's
series.
cool.
They did the same thing with Kung Fu Panda too.
Yeah. I saw a couple of
the thing
the
that
Kung
bums
Fu
me with
Panda ones.
those sequels like that is when they change the character voices.
Oh, I know.
Oh yeah,
It's like,
yeah,
oh,
The
like
only
the
one-
Aladdin when,
Yeah.
when it wasn't.
It's like a sound-alike.
Yeah.
The only one I think is actually pretty good is The Emperor's New Groove did
Oh, yeah?
The Emperor's New School on
Oh,
TV.
really?
Right.
Where
That's
it's them
pretty
in high school.
Right.
And they have a David Spade sound-alike
Right,
who is
Is it still
so
Peter
funny.
Warburg or whatever?
It is Peter
Oh,
Warburton.
cool. Right
Yeah,
on.
totally.
Nice.
Or Patrick Warburton.
Patrick Warburg.
Um,
Yeah. Warburg something.
Putty
Yeah.
from Friends.
Yeah.
But he's great. He's good
And
in
Brock
everything.
on Venture Brothers.
And the live-action Tick.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, nice. Very good.
I
Yeah,
love
the
that
Tick.
Tick.
Oh my gosh, I'm such a Tick fan. But
Shame
oh,
on
but
him.
the sound-alike of David Spade was real. His timing was perfect,
Oh, yeah?
and he did really like.
Oh, cool.
He was
So
definitely.
it's almost a caricature of him.
Oh, definitely doing an impression of
Oh,
David
right
Spade,
on.
but doing it really well.
Oh, cool,
So I was
cool.
like, right
Awesome.
on. I think he's really cool. So
yeah.
I'm going to take a moment to have a quick break in the middle of the podcast where we get to talk about our listeners and what they can do to help our podcast.
Yeah.
Right.
Yay! It's
Get-
not really a break.
Get cracking.
We're going to just keep
Just
talking.
we're gonna shamelessly we're gonna beg.
Exactly.
There you go.
Yeah, just
Here's all the, well, maybe we'll do we're going to do like a little update for our listeners that things are going really well on the podcast. Like, I think we've got, a little core number of people who listen every week, and our numbers reflect that, and we've got a couple of trickle-in people that we don't even know who start listening every once in a while, which
Right.
is exciting. Scott texted me a name the other day, and
Yeah,
he's like, do you know this person? And I was like, nope.
I
He's like,
texted Rick too. I was
"New
like, I want to.
listener."
Yeah, I was like, this is random. And it wasn't a sex trade
Good.
girl too this time. It was some dude. It's just like I get those random. I'm like, oh, I want to know who this is. And,
yeah, should we shout out his name here? I think I got
No,
it.
just because we don't know. I mean, we have a first and a last name.
you know what? If he's listening, let him.
Okay.
He can say
We can do
yes.
first name.
It was like Todd somebody.
Yeah.
Because I know a couple Todds, but the last name wasn't familiar to me.
Todd H.
Todd
Hey, Todd
H.
H.
Hey, Todd.
Todd H,
Thanks
yeah.
for listening.
Thank
Yeah, leave a comment if you hear this. Leave
Yeah.
a comment, and
Totally.
he listens to some pretty. He's networked into some pretty a lot of podcasts that get a lot of
Cool.
listens. So
Right on. So he's a
obviously,
podcast fan.
yeah. So
like
it's obvious
us.
he's an aficionado.
Right on.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to our little club, and it really helps us, and it makes me excited to come and podcast when I know there's people listening. And so please, the best thing you can do for us is to tell a friend and to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. I actually started tweeting. My tweets are hilarious.
Yeah.
Some of them are
I gotta
dumb,
read them.
but they're very funny. They're not. Sometimes they are.
They're-
Sometimes they're me talking about food. I'm going to try not to talk about pooping, even though, let's get real, I will eventually talk about pooping.
It
happens. It's natural.
It's true. Everybody poops. Subscribe to us on iTunes. Our Twitter handle, I forgot to mention, is @CoffeeShopPodcast. All you have to do on iTunes, YouTube, subscribe on YouTube.
You can like us on YouTube too.
On
Yes,
YouTube,
you can post comments.
Make sure they include the word podcast from the coffee shop, because if you put on from the coffee shop, it's
Lots
really hard.
of,
it's
so
really
add
hard
podcasting to all of these searches.
Which
SoundCloud, iTunes, Facebook,
we need that in our
Twitter.
email then too. No podcast.
Oh, yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Is our
Email.
It's just
email
email
there?
stops at coffeeshop@gmail.
Oh,
But
okay.
anyway, it's fine.
So find us on all of those things and tell a friend and give us a comment. Like, we're gonna start having a little responding to viewers' comments or listeners.
Don't
I guess.
be shy.
Saying
We're not gonna
viewers.
stalk you or anything
We
like
might.
that.
One time though, I have to say, there's a podcast called Comedy Film Nerds. And one of my most favorite moments was I listened to their first episode because it's Graham Elwood is one of the hosts, and I like him. I think he's a really funny comic. And so I was listening to it, and I posted a comment on theirs because he's got this cackle of a laugh, and he would lean into the mic when he was laughing, and so it's normal talking sound, crazy loud laugh, and I was listening to it on headphones, and I would yank my headphones out, it was painful, and so I was like, hey, I really like your guys' podcast, can you please turn your head away from the microphone when you laugh?
Yeah.
It makes it really hard to listen on earphones. And then the next episode they did 10 minutes making fun of me and calling me an asshole, and it was
you're
the
kidding.
most funny, awesome, and I was like, what are you talking about? Thanks a lot, Peggy, why don't you mind your own business? It was so funny.
Were they trying to be funny about it though too, or were they actually serious? And
No, I think they were being
actually
facetious.
irritated.
No, I don't think they were actually irritated. If they were, they should get over it, because I was helping them.
heck yeah.
Because
Right.
they actually did get a lot better with their sound balancing, and it was easier to listen on earphones, because the first couple episodes were bleeding ears. It was
Right,
really
because
bad.
it's hard to hear that if you're editing on external speakers.
And that's the thing, is a lot of times you don't listen on headphones or listen on a speaker, so if people have feedback about sound or what's if you can't understand us, because we tape in coffee shops, and so sometimes when I listen to it I go, oh man, I wish we could have better sound because there's so much background noise, or sometimes it sounds like we're in an echoey place. So if people have thoughts about that, share them.
Pieces of advice that I've gotten from a lot of music producers is they say you want to listen to your stuff every different place that you can, because you want to spread as wide a net kind of as possible.
Totally.
So are you going to sound good on a phone or a mono radio or a big club sound room versus a stage, and
Totally. And that's
really
challenging because we tape in different locations each week, and so we've started like tweaking things where like right now we have a place where Rick sits right, this relationship to the microphone and Scott sits in this relationship that has a better balance.
Right.
Yeah, so
But we
hopefully
can
you
only
guys
get
can hear me.
better. We can. See, and that's the thing, the weeks where you were too quiet, now it's not a problem at all anymore.
You
We've
come
totally
across
figured
it.
that out.
I think what it was too when we were sitting across from each other because we have the same kind of similar
We
baritone.
occupy the same frequency.
I have a different
Uh-huh.
pitch, but we have this similar frequency, and that we would cancel each other out, especially if we were talking at the same time.
Totally.
Yeah.
Well, waves do that.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yep.
Totally.
Sound is so crazy.
Isn't
It's
it
just
weird?
this. It's just up and down. That's
And-
all it is.
When I was a little kid, it used to like really freak me out to think about tapes. Like to think about the fact that you could magnetically record a sound wave and then play it back, and it was the same sound that you make. It would make my brain explode. Like I couldn't think about it too much because I was like, it's
But if you
really
think about
weird.
it's the same. Your ear is the same thing that processes both things. So it's entirely feasible.
I know.
It just makes a replica of the.
But isn't it wild? Like
Yeah.
it's so weird to me, and that sound is the first thing we were able to record. Like we can do visuals and all this other stuff, but sound recording's been around for like 150 years or
Yeah.
something. When was the first sound recording? Phonographs and stuff.
Right.
Well,
Was
it's
it
a wax.
Edison
It's a
or
wax
someone-
cylinder,
I
actually.
think it was Edison.
They would record on a wax cylinder,
Yeah,
which
isn't
would
that wild?
I think those things are like so protected right now because they degrade.
Yeah. Actually, our sister's brother-in-law, TJ's brother, Kevin, the dentist.
Oh,
Anyway,
yeah.
they have a vintage phonograph
Oh, wow.
in their living room that I did Easter at their house last year, and I walked in and it was like gorgeous, and I was like, "What is that?" And he was showing it to
It
me.
will play modern vinyl.
Oh, will it?
Yeah.
He had old, it's not old like 1900, like early 1900s. It's like a 40s or 50s phonograph, but it is really badass.
I think the difference is they like the speed.
Oh, that makes
messed up.
sense.
They don't
Like
have
the
variable-
standard
They don't have
speeds
variable
and stuff.
speeds.
Yeah,
Okay.
but it was cool.
He's
like,
also
really
in a
cool.
band too.
Is
I don't know
he?
if you've heard any of
He's
his
a
music.
cool guy. I
He's,
haven't.
It's called
awesome.
K-Mac.
King Mac.
K-A-Y-M-A-K.
Oh, cool.
K-Mac Music. If you want to check them out, they're
M.A.K.
usually. Yeah, I think they have a lot of their stuff posted. They were on the MySpace thing for a while.
Oh, right on. He's a cool dude. I
yeah,
like
he's
him
awesome.
a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
smart.
Very down to earth.
we should.
Yeah.
He's a dentist and lives
Yeah.
in who knows where. I don't
He's
even
really
know
cool.
where
His
it was.
brother-
We just drove into the woods and then it was his house.
Nice.
It's a dentistry in the house, or his house is in the woods.
No, his house is in the woods.
His brother's a sound designer, and he
Oh,
works
really?
in Hollywood.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah.
Aren't they
That's
twins?
cool.
Yeah, they're twins, pretty much. Yeah.
Crazy. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
neat guy.
Right on. That's very cool. So anyway, all of that was to like us and tell a friend
Please,
Yes.
please tell a friend.
and leave comments. That would be
Yes,
really
help us
cool.
grow.
Help us grow. And next week we should do a plug. We can talk about that now. Actually, did you want to talk about the movie you saw? Scott?
Yeah. Oh, that's not other than planes. On
yeah.
Netflix, I watched a movie from 2011 called Flypaper with Patrick Dempsey and
Dempsey.
And,
2011 was like Patrick Dempsey's like
Oh.
the cusp of his comeback.
yeah,
He's
Doctor
kind of waned now.
the McDreamy.
The McDreamy, totally.
Sort of like his Iron Man,
Uh-huh.
if Iron Man was to come back.
Totally.
He was also in Transformers 2.
Was
Oh,
he?
really?
I never saw
Oh,
Transformers 2.
Yeah.
Transformers
Was
3,
he?
Dark of the Moon. Yeah.
Oh, I
Okay.
saw 3. I don't
Yeah.
remember much about it.
He was
'cause
the
it
sellout.
More
He was
Transformers.
the sellout. He's
Was
the one
he?
that sold out the human race.
So it's a Patrick Dempsey.
Yeah, and it's a bank robbery movie, which is
Oh, I
really
like
cool. And he
bank
plays
robber
this. He
movies.
plays this character as kind of. He's ADD. He's just like he's a nervous. He's a wreck, and he's the whole as the movie progresses, he's coming down off his meds.
Huh.
So he gets more and more neurotic and
Yeah,
more
that
and more.
sounds good.
And he can't. And everything's in prime numbers. Like he wants. It starts off with him breaking $100 bill, and he just wants change. He likes the weight of it. He
Weird.
doesn't. Yeah.
So
And-
I'm thinking more OCD than
yeah,
ADHD.
yeah, something. He's a wreck, and it's kind of like a
OCD is obsessive compulsive disorder.
that too.
where
Yeah, he
people
was
would
washing
be-
his hands before he went to the bathroom, and
Yeah,
after he
that
went to
would
the
be more
bathroom. Yeah.
OCD. Yeah, ADHD is attention deficit hyperactivity.
Yeah.
And
So yeah.
and he's figuring out all this. Like, there's a robbery happening and an ambush. There's like 3 things happening at the same time.
I'm totally gonna watch that.
It's a good movie. I liked it. It was the other characters I really don't know their names. It was one of the guys from Brother for Where Art Thou?
Oh, Brother, Where
Where
Art
Art
Thou?
Thou?
Okay.
Yeah, it was the one of the doofuses.
Okay, is he the short, skinny one who's in all the Coen Brother movies? Because I
Yeah,
love that guy.
I think
He's
so.
a comic.
The
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
that was saved, the one that got
Yeah,
baptized.
that
Yes.
him. Yeah,
Okay.
him. He was in it. He
He's
was
great.
he was
Brother
just
Where Art Thou's a great movie.
Oh my gosh, it's genius.
him and his partner were there to rob the ATMs. The other guys were there to rob the vault, and they were being
Weird.
set up. It was a
Ooh,
good
I'm
movie.
totally gonna watch it.
Yeah.
Speaking of that guy and Oh Brother Where Art Thou, the Coen Brothers' next movie looks really great. Which one of these weeks upcoming this month, we're gonna do a Peggy's movies she's excited about for Oscar season thing.
Okay.
And I'm gonna post a bunch of trailers on Facebook and I'll send them to you guys so we can all watch the trailers and then talk about them. Because there are some movies coming out this holiday season that look fantastic, and one of them is the new Coen Brothers movie.
Okay.
It's Inside Llewellyn
I'm
Davis.
a huge fan of Coen Brothers.
Me too. Oh my gosh, it
my
looks
favorite
so
Is
great.
George Clooney in it?
I don't think
Oh,
so.
really? Did they
Justin
actually do
Timberlake
one
is
without
though.
What's your
Oh,
favorite
really?
Coen Brothers movie?
I gotta go Big Lebowski.
Right.
I mean, Raising Arizona is fighting it. It's like they are like, depending on my mood of the day.
Raising Arizona is my favorite by
Oh,
far.
really? See,
Yeah.
Raising Arizona is actually a lesser, like, the average person will go, oh yeah, that was weird. But I think it's our age group
Yeah.
that like that. That's a movie I've loved.
It's
my
John
whole
Goodman
life.
that does it for me. It's
Oh
not the
my
Nicolas
gosh,
Cage.
he's so good.
It's not the Nick Cage character. It's John
I know.
Goodman.
I love Holly Hunter in that. I think
Yeah.
she steals it. But
I like
I
Big
think
Lebowski
Big
too.
Lebowski is like, it's fighting, you
Yeah.
know. But Raising Arizona is one that I've seen 1,000 times,
Yeah.
and I've only seen the Big Lebowski maybe 20.
Yeah, I like the. Well, John Goodman is both of them.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
great, and he's in the new. He plays a music
He was in Oh
producer,
Brother Without
I know.
as well.
and he's really good.
That's right. I forget. He's in a lot of Coen Brothers.
Oh
movies.
yeah, for sure. He's great. Anyway, another movie I saw, which I just bring up because it's like maybe don't bother. Pacific Rim. You guys seen it? It
I
was a
did.
big blockbuster this
I
summer.
enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it.
I think it was the most forgettable movie.
It was.
I
because-
rented it on Amazon for like $4, and I was
Who's
like,
in
eh.
Again?
It has Ron Perlman, who was
Okay.
the one really watchable person, but
Yeah.
he's just in it this much. I wish he was the main character.
Yeah.
But the main character is the guy from Sons of Anarchy, Charlie Hunnam.
Right.
Hunnam? I don't know how to pronounce his name. But he's good, but the story is so just like... And Charlie Day from Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Is that
was
the one with
really
the big
good in it.
robots in it?
The robots and the
Yeah.
aliens that come
Okay.
from the Pacific.
There was nothing in there for me.
So-
And I like action movies. It was just like,
Like
It
a
had
Godzilla
no
movie with better
arc.
effects.
what?
Like an actual old Godzilla movie, but with better effects.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah, but
what
except
was
there
that,
was no
that Battleship
dramatic
movie
tension
with
in it.
Battleship.
Liam Neeson?
I saw that
I
too.
don't know.
Wait, with Liam Neeson.
Yeah.
And you're like, Battleship. No, the one with, what was that called? It came out almost the same time as Battleship, but it had Liam Neeson in it.
Yeah,
Taken?
Was he in Battleship?
Yeah, he
Oh,
was in
maybe
Battleship.
I'm thinking of
Yeah.
Battleship. Oh, okay.
Where that was just total.
I thought there were two different
I didn't
movies.
care. I couldn't watch the whole movie. It was just-
I was playing, I like found myself playing dominoes on my phone in the middle of
Oh.
Pacific Rim because I was like so there was no, it started out at an 8, and then the first part stayed at an 8, and then the middle section was about an 8, and then the last
Yeah.
part was about an 8. Like in terms of intensity, there was no
right.
arc,
No-
there was no character
no
development,
release and
there was,
build or
it had
anything.
like 2 characters, like the Asian girl was really interesting, and the Ron Perlman was great, but he doesn't show up until halfway through the movie.
Yeah.
And he was really funny because his name was Hannibal Chow, and he wore like gold shoes, and he was like, he was saying he picked his name and he named himself after his favorite historical figure and his second favorite Chinese restaurant. And I was like, what a hilarious! It was Ron Perlman is hysterical to me. Like he's
Did
such
you
a
see
great
Lost
character.
Children? He was in that one.
Yeah,
It's just
I
this
have
crazy,
seen it. It's like
artsy, weird movie.
I saw it a long
Yeah,
time
it's
ago, though.
definitely-
Yeah,
He's been in a
Forgot
lot
about
of
that
weird like
movie.
movies you wouldn't expect to see him in. He
Totally.
played like I see him in a movie where he
Hellboy,
basically
right?
played a cop that was possessed by a demon.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
I just recently finally watched Hellboy, which Hellboy is. I thought it was fun. I mean, it's
Right.
about what I expected, which was like I was sick and it was on and it's
Yeah.
Halloween time, so it was
Right.
fun. But like he's great in it. Like he's wonderful in the whole movie.
Hellboy movies.
The movie's like meh.
The one with Hugh Jackman. What was that one?
Wolverine.
No, where he's like the undead.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
What is that called? Van Helsing.
Van Helsing
Yeah.
and League of Extraordinary Gentlemen
Yeah.
all sort of blend into
That's
the same
so
movie
true.
for me.
Oh.
Like really glossy, almost like
Yeah.
packaged, fluffy.
Yeah, kind of.
Campy. Yeah.
And
Well,
they're never,
I agree.
There's no, they're always dark movies. They're
Yeah,
really dark and wet.
But they're dark except in their like thematic content, and then they're very, or not thematic content, their dialogue. The dialogue is fluff, but the movie's really dark.
Right.
But like they're all about like singers and like being kind
Kinda.
of cute at being dark.
And
Like it's not really dark.
Right.
You know what I mean?
The look of the movies, I
It's
think they
fun.
went like they use the same technology to kind of build a lot of the effects too.
Yeah,
So it
that's
sort
true.
of has the same sort of feel
Yeah.
to it or style.
I would
Yeah.
say that's true, but it was enjoyable. I gave it a B+. I was like, it was one of the. I spent 3 days in bed last week after the podcast. I went home and just vegged for 3 days, and I watched probably 25 movies, and that is not in any way an exaggeration. Some of them I watched about a half hour and then gave up, but because it was the week up to Halloween, it was all like horror movies or monster movies.
Oh.
And the ones that stood out were Paranorman was great.
Awesome.
Like
Yeah.
really fun
Yay.
kids,
Was that your
but
first
enjoyable. I
first
had
time
never
watch-
seen it. Yeah,
Ah.
they were all brand new movies. I didn't rewatch anything.
Okay.
And Hellboy was a good one. The third was that movie I had started last week, The Awakening.
Okay.
That I recommended, and I finished watching it. And did you watch it? Oh, you had already seen it, right? Or wait, no, I just had mentioned it. Anyway, I thought for some reason you were the one who told me you'd seen it. Really good. Like I still like that
Okay, The
movie.
Awakening.
I couldn't stop recommending it to people because it's
That was-
so gorgeous.
Our Halloween night, Keegan is no longer a trick or treater, so he decides,
Aw.
and he's not really a horror fan
Cutie
either.
pie Keegan. Oh yeah.
He's not a horror fan, but so he picked
Not
out
really
Halloween, or not Halloween, Friday the 13th
Oh,
to
God.
watch. Jason Takes Manhattan.
Jason Takes Manhattan.
Yeah,
Nice.
it was horrible.
Yeah, they're terrible, aren't
Yeah,
they?
yeah, I was
I
like-
have a really good friend who's really
They're
into
coming out
classic
with the
horror.
Jason Goes West.
Oh God.
No, just he's.
Oh man.
It got 2 stars on Rotten. It's
Oh.
like it got ranked like 15% on Rotten
Oh,
Tomatoes.
totally.
Did anybody see Jason versus Freddy? Or is
You
that?
know, I
Yeah.
did
Is
see
that-
that,
is that
and
any
I
good?
think I
Kinda
fell
funny.
asleep in the middle of
yeah,
it.
it's funny.
Was it
Yeah.
was it a kind of a satirical take on it?
Yeah,
They
I mean,
use that
because
edge or-
there's 2 immortal badasses
Yeah.
fighting each other, and one
Right,
won't
so it's
die, and the
not-
other one goes to the dreamland. It's
It's more of a
Totally.
battle movie than
Yeah,
a frightening, kind of scary,
totally.
like Alien versus Predator kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, his whole thing was he didn't want to see any gore, which there was hardly any in that movie.
Yeah.
It was like it was all like cutaways. Like
Yeah.
you would see somebody about to get stabbed, and they
Yeah.
cut away and see the
Totally.
body
That
fly.
was before
Yeah.
the torture porn movement where like
Yeah.
now with everything post Saw, it's all about the like watching people's faces get cut off and stuff.
right. The split. Yeah.
Yeah.
Has your son seen Samurai Jack?
I don't. God,
I think
don't-
that's right up his alley.
I don't
myself,
think
'cause
I
it's-
don't. I might.
It's
I'll
kind
have
of
to ask
violent
him.
and cool, but not really gory. And very artsy and really easy to
It's
sort of.
animated.
He
It's
like
a cartoon.
right now he,
Yeah.
he
good.
watches a lot of Red versus Blue.
Oh, nice.
You know it's
Yeah.
Halo. The guys
Oh.
from they do Rooster Teeth. They do they use an animation style called machinima.
Oh yeah.
Basically, it's gameplay, and they just
Yeah.
they stand there, bob their heads up and down. That's how they talk.
Funny.
Okay.
It's kind of
Nice.
funny. That's
So-
what he watches.
Next week on the podcast, Scott is going to bring his dad in.
Yeah, we'll see if he wants to talk or not. I'll ask him tonight. I'll just pose him a question.
Totally.
Yeah.
So he's visiting, and we had talked a little bit in previous podcasts about kind of your story with you and your dad, and why don't you catch us up a little bit on it?
Well, for those who can remember, I'll go back a little bit. I just got in contact with him 2 years ago. There's a Facebook find, type of thing where
so crazy.
Me growing up, knowing of him, but he never knew of me. And it's like one of those things. It's like where I contacted him, he thought somebody was fishing for money.
Wow.
Which I can see that.
So he didn't even know you existed. That's so wild.
Well, he obviously knew your mom existed.
Right.
Well, he didn't even remember her name when I
really?
Yeah. He was embracing the hippie lifestyle when he was here, so he won't make any bones about it. And he's a recovering substance abuser, and he doesn't make any bones. He's not shy about it or anything like that. But he doesn't judge you either. Like if Rick smokes pot or if I have a beer or whatever.
He's cool with it.
Yeah, he's like, do what you, as long as you can handle your own high. But you know what I mean.
When it's a problem, it's a
Right.
problem.
One of those
Totally.
advocates now that's got to eradicate.
If you ask him for help, he's right there for you. Yeah.
That's really cool.
There's certain things that he can't share, but he is in Narcotics Anonymous and whatnot. But he'll be out here.
So probably takes things one day at a time, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. No.
And keep coming back. I've been to those meetings. I've been to Al-Anon meetings. I've been to Al-Anon TV.
Yeah, totally.
It's definitely.
It's a culture for sure.
It's a religion.
Totally.
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
/ cult.
Yeah.
No,
well, as a person, I don't know.
Yeah,
if something works for you, go for it.
Right. That's true. For certain people, it's very helpful. They have very, very low success rates, though. And to me, as a person who's in a helping profession, something that has lasted that long, that has such low success rates, I always think, there's got to be a better way to treat drug treatment. I'm talking infinitesimally small success rates. But I think that's because they use a 100 or 0 model of whether you're sober, where it's either you are 100% sober or you are not sober at all. And to me, that's so rigid that it replaces one addiction with another, and that's weird to me. But for those who can live up to that standard, which is to me crazy high, great, good job, yay!
He's actually driving in from Nampa, Idaho, which is an 8-hour car drive.
Yeah. I used to drive through there when I would go back and forth from Tri-Cities to Rick's College when I went to Rick's in Rexburg, Idaho. It's BYU, Idaho.
I got a speeding ticket coming back there.
It is
that
just
Kennewick?
Yeah.
That's
where we're from.
I'm trying to think. There's a highway that's just before. It's like 82 maybe.
Yeah, 82 goes through there.
When it cuts through Oregon, I hit cruise control on just under the speed limit because there are so many cops on the stretch, near Baker, between Idaho and when you go from Idaho to Oregon and then Oregon up to Washington, that stretch is such it is one speed trap after another.
I got pulled over down there.
Ridiculous.
The cop says, "Well, you passed one state patrol. He clocked you at 88, and then you didn't slow down when you passed us." And I was like, because the highway is so smooth.
Totally.
And I'm talking to my uncle. We were making our way back, and
there's nothing.
Yeah, there's nothing there. And I had a new car. I had a Honda Accord, which just drove like a dream.
Totally.
And it was, it's like, and I got pulled over, and it's like, well, here's your $175 ticket. You can fight it if you want, but you have to come all the way back here.
Exactly. It's a total racket. Oh, yeah. It's criminal to me.
Yeah.
I always fight tickets just because it makes me so angry.
Did your dad decide to just come over and visit you, or did you invite him up?
I maintain a kind of an ongoing relationship with him over Facebook. So I talk with him. We can go. I go like a week at a time without talking to him. But I'll send him a message. Hey, how you doing? And then I just said we should get together. Thanksgiving's coming up. What are you doing? And they're going to be down Well, they're gonna be in Utah, or I think, or somewhere that's not close to here.
No, sorry.
Yeah.
Just teasing.
And but so this was like one of their free weeks that they had, and just before the weather starts getting really horrible, like the pass has become impassable.
It's smart. This
Yeah.
is the get it while you.
So will this
get
be the
to
first time you've ever met him then? Like,
No, I've met him
in
before.
life?
I've met him. We've gone for visits. We've gone
Oh, okay.
driven down there. That's
Oh, cool. Okay.
hence the speeding ticket coming back.
Gotcha. Right. Sorry if I'm not keeping up.
His wife, Sherry, her name's Sherry. She's really cool. She just retired actually.
Oh, cool.
If she's listening, happy retirement. This is her first full year, and she's really cool. We went on a wine tasting thing, and so it was really neat. Like my
really
dad,
cool.
he's a recovering alcoholic drug
Right.
addict, and then she likes wine.
A
She's
wino?
get
started.
Nice.
Yeah. So we went around. We were going around. We went from wine place to wine place. We pretty much. I got kind of smashed.
Right
Going
on.
around.
And you had a
yeah,
designated
yeah.
driver in Dad, right?
No, she drove,
Oh.
which I think I don't think she drank that much, but we got bottles and stuff.
Yeah, totally.
It was
Right
Idaho
on.
is actually a really nice wine country.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Now it is.
Well,
for
if it's
sure.
like the Tri-Cities, it's pretty good wine country too.
Yeah.
I understand. And
I mean, what else is there to do?
yeah,
Not that
You know,
much.
get high.
You know?
Totally.
Yeah.
No.
Nice.
We saw some of the really cool, like we saw some pictographs that were over there, like there's an actual ancient map. They call it Map Rock, and it's actually a map of Nampa, Idaho,
Oh,
which
that's
is
cool.
drawn by Native Americans.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
We'll
next
look
week,
forward to-
yeah, if Scott's dad's
Dad.
up to it, he might join us. If not, he'll just come and sit and be a mystery guest.
A fly on the wall.
Totally. But, if you
You could
have...
watch dads together.
That would be kind of cool. If I had cable.
Oh,
Oh, that's right. You can watch it on Hulu. Anyway, Hulu keeps trying to force me to watch it.
Oh.
There are a few shows that I do not like that Hulu will autoplay at the end of shows I do like, and it drives me crazy because one of them is The Morning After, which is their little Entertainment Tonight ripoff show, but the sound on it is like 40% louder than all the other shows, and so I'll be sitting there like sewing or doing something with the TV on Hulu, and then the next show that comes up and it's like suddenly it's like blasting loud, and I'm like, you MFers,
Yeah,
and then I jump in and try to like cancel it. It drives me crazy.
I think there was a thing on that with it. They would do that for commercial.
Oh
play.
yeah, for sure.
They actually.
But they've gotten rid
regulated
of
it.
smart sound though too. You don't see smart sound on a lot of new TVs.
Yeah.
It's like what
That
happened
will
to that?
auto equalize.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
was great. Yeah.
I know. I think it's a conspiracy. I think that volume.
They got rid of
control-
that knob too. They got rid of that.
The knob is
Yeah,
the knob's
completely
gone.
gone.
I missed the knob.
Yeah.
Channel.
The
Alex is
analog
looking like a
interface.
the old.
Totally.
And when it
I
breaks,
just
you
wait
have
for
to
the day where
fire
they
it.
take the mute button off the remote.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Anyway.
So hey, if listeners want to send in some of their experiences, if you have a family member that you met as an adult, next week we might be making that a little bit of a subject.
Yeah.
Alex was going to tell us. Alex is here with us. A story that you were saying you saw somebody reconnect.
Yeah, there's this girl. I used to work in Bon Marché, now Macy's, in the meat counter. And this one girl, she came in, and I'm sorry I don't remember the whole story. It's been over
That's
10
okay.
years.
Oh,
And
wow.
She was actually from Afghanistan, and when she came in, her face was a little disfigured, and because her house, I believe, was bombed.
Oh wow.
And she lost, I believe, some family members, and she survived. Unfortunately, like I said, her face was a little disfigured, but she had the best attitude.
Oh yeah.
And she wanted to come in and try to hide some of her scars and stuff, but because some people kind of like stare at her. 'Cause
Right,
part
yeah.
of her nose was disfigured, and she couldn't close her mouth. You can see her teeth
Oh
and
yeah.
stuff.
Totally.
So we started talking, and she just had the best attitude. And we kept talking, and she goes, "Do you have a wait girl that works here by this name?" And I'm like, "Yes, we do. Her name. She actually works in shoe department, and she goes, "If you ever see her, let me know." Well, we ended up. I got information, and I actually got to see this girl meet up the girl that worked in the shoe department, and they used to be neighbors or friends in Afghanistan. And
That's
the
cool.
girl that she wanted to contact to thought she passed away.
Wow.
And so seeing that, that was
crazy.
like, I did get teary-eyed.
Yeah.
It was
That's cool.
probably one of the coolest things I've ever seen. So
Wild. That's so cool.
So,
Especially to be like this far away and to
Right.
just happen to be that close, you
Yes,
know? Isn't that
exactly.
crazy? That's
Exactly.
so cool.
So,
Ooh, I love that. The world is so small.
It gets smaller every day with the social media too. That's
totally.
that's how I found my dad. It's on
'cause
Facebook.
Idaho is not that far away, but how else would you have found him if there wasn't, places online where you can...
Well, and that's not the only place he's been too. He's lived in Northern California. He's lived in Utah. And plus, I didn't even know he's alive. Like that's the thing.
Yeah.
It's like, am I going to find an obituary kind of thing? So
Totally.
that was kind of scary stuff. When I don't want to. It was like, what if I do find him? What's he going to say? That kind of thing.
Oh man,
that
totally.
stuff is just.
It's brave to even try because it's one of those things where you could get a million different responses and 90% of them are terrifying,
Right.
like 10% is oh, he's a cool person who has a good attitude and it doesn't have resentment mixed up with your existence and is a cool person you can reconnect with. But then if you're just anticipating the possibilities, that's the best case scenario, and it's a small chance because there's so many other things that could be going on.
Sure.
I mean, you could have even connected with him in the middle of his drug use, and it could have been a really traumatic experience.
Yeah, that's right.
So timing is interesting.
Right.
With anybody, though, there's going to be good things about it, and there's going to be bad things about it. So
all
as long
those
as you're able to
scenarios,
be-
those scenarios ran in my head. No, the drug part, I don't think I even ran into that. 'Cause I didn't think about it, but
Yeah.
I had fantasies of maybe he's this super rich dude, or maybe he's this homeless guy, and then or maybe he's now is transgender, that kind of stuff. It's
there's so
many things, and then
Totally.
but to come to find out, he's actually a cool old timing dude. He's in his 60s now, and
Totally.
he restores antique clocks, which is I find
Ooh,
fascinating.
that's
Yeah,
cool.
really cool. He's got his own business, and
Cool.
he loves music. We connected there. That's where we
Right on.
connected on music because he's 65 years old and he likes
Yeah.
Slipknot.
right
You know?
on, right on.
That's
Yeah.
hilarious.
And he'll when we first started connecting, he would send me hey, I'm watching Inked, and they got that guy from Slipknot on there getting a
crazy.
tattoo on Inked.
That's wild.
And
Cool.
yeah.
Well, I'm excited to have him on next week, and if he wants to talk, cool. If he doesn't, no biggie. But at least we got to kind of talk about that a little bit this week and give the listeners some context.
He also can grow a sweet beard.
Can he?
Yeah,
Nice.
It's all white. It's
Right on.
it's white. He looks like Santa, and he's got way more hair than I do.
Oh, bummer.
Well, I would
No.
grow it
you
out.
have plenty of hair.
It's-
You feel more bald than you are.
No, it's just I got a skull. Yeah, that's probably
I'm
true.
just thankful anything's up there for me.
You have tons of hair today.
It looks worse when it
guys are
goes.
so sensitive about it.
It looks better shorter. Actually, it does look better shorter. So.
I think it looks fine. I mean, it's thin and blonde, and so there you've got two things against you. But I don't think of you as a bald person.
For me, it's the longer my hair grows, the less it looks like I have hair.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
It looks-
especially when my bangs get really long, because then they get really sparse.
Oh yeah.
So I look like
see.
What
the
happens.
the hipster or the wannabe
Oh.
counselor that wants to get grow his hair out to be kind of cool with the other kids.
You have to see
And,
my
yeah.
my wedding photo, and my hair's it looks like I have a toupee on. Actually,
Awesome.
it's just not really a toupee, but it looks like a hair helmet
Oh,
because
very cool.
it's just you can see no scalp. There's basically it's just it's there.
Oh, so compared
sheet
to
of
your
hair.
norm,
Yeah.
it's a lot thinner.
And it was a lot
Because
darker
I'm-
actually. It's lightened
Huh.
up. Well, because the
Weird.
gray is taking over.
Oh, that
That's why
makes
it looks. Yeah.
Crazy. Well, we're about out of time.
Already?
So I know we're actually 10 minutes over.
Wow.
I know it's zipped by. So thanks for listening. Again, tell a friend, post some comments, give us some, something to talk about. So anyway,
Yeah,
not like
come-
we can't
come check
talk
out the
about a
Boardroom
million other things.
and see all the.
Oh my gosh! They just showed us a wedding picture.
Oh yeah.
I would not have recognized you.
Yeah.
I look like Keegan.
Oh my gosh, you look so much like
Yeah, well,
Keegan.
you've thinned up
Your
a
hair
lot
is
since then,
so
too.
much
I was actually
darker.
thinner then.
Oh really? Well, your
Were
face
you?
is thinned up.
My-
Oh, weird. We have to. Can we post that on? You guys should
Yeah.
post it on Facebook.
Yeah. I don't
That
care.
doesn't
It's-
even look like you. Well, because it's so much darker hair. Because I thought you were just like a blonde baby your whole life.
It's weird. My hair's been. It goes
So
through
weird.
transitions. I was like a golden towhead, like when I was young, and then it
Yeah.
got darker during teenager, and now it's getting lighter again.
Crazy.
Sounds like my brother Tom's hair.
Is it getting blonde again? Because it got
Kinda,
kind of
yeah.
dark, and then
Yeah.
shaved.
But he was
shaved his
white
head.
when he was a
Oh,
kid, just
just-
like white
Yeah.
hair, like
Super blonde.
Yeah.
Very Aryan nation
Tom was a
looking.
cute little kid.
Yeah.
The pictures of him when he's a little kid, he's got like the 70s
Big
like
old-
wavy, froey,
Yeah,
curly
yeah.
white guy fro.
It
That's
looks like
blonde.
old ladies' white
Yes,
hair,
yes.
you know.
That
it's-
was my hair.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
it's
I used
adorable.
to have. I had what would you call that haircut? Bob Seger. You remember Bob?
Yeah.
Bob Seger and then the silver bow band. It's like.
I mean, I know who it is. I
Parted in the
can't.
middle and feathered back.
Oh yeah.
But it's really long on the
Uh-huh.
sides, like down to my shoulders. And I had that in the '80s, yeah.
Oh my
and then when
gosh.
I started chasing girls, I got the '90s, got the hard ring around the outside, and I had the lines, got my
Awesome.
yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, and we will see you next week.
Thanks, folks.
Huzzah!